We finally get to meet Group C on The Masked Singer. We've got the Squiggly Monster, Mushroom, the Jellyfish, the Broccoli, and the Lips. Let's talk The Masked Singer. Hey guys, Dan here with you. Thank you for joining my Masked Singer guest video. We finally get to meet Group C after so many weeks. We've been with Group A a couple times, Group B a couple times. Last week we had off for the World Series. So here we go. We're finally into Group C. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys to subscribe below if you haven't yet. I am just a couple people away from 600 subscribers, so I would love to cross that threshold with this video. Go ahead and comment below too, because your Masked Singer guesses mixed with mine are what helped me determine which way I'm going to go. You guys have a lot of really good ideas for these people. And speaking of which, I want to just briefly go back to Group A and B. I am sticking with my guns on all of Group A, by the way. I think the Sun is Leanne Rimes. I think the Popcorn is Taylor Dayne. And the Snow Owls, I've gone back and forth on this a little bit, but I think it's Clint Black and Lisa Hartman Black. Then for Group 2, or Group B, I should say, Crocodile, I started with Nick Carter. Last week, I went Joey Lawrence because some of the clues really confused me, but you guys in the comments were like, no, dummy, this is 100% Nick Carter, and here's why. And you laid out all these different things, the dolphins, and also the story about the $100 that he got his first check, and it made his dad, weep with happiness. That was a story that apparently was told in either his autobiography or the Backstreet Boys autobiography or something. So it's pretty clear that it's Nick Carter. So I'm going back to that guess. The Seahorse, I'm firm on Tori Kelly for that one. Serpent, I'm very firm with Leslie Odom Jr. I've thought that since week 1 that we saw Group B. And then whatchamacallit, I still don't know. It's some sports star that I'm probably going to just get it wrong. But in the comments, I think the closest we've come is maybe Lonzo Ball. So maybe that's one idea for the whatchamacallit. But I think that's the one I'm furthest gone on. But let's talk about Group C. I think I have at least 2 of these down, and the rest are very big question marks. 1 or 2 maybe with an asterisk. But let's talk about the Lips, who was eliminated. Just like Gremlin, who was Mickey Rourke, the Lips sang last tonight. And, she didn't, unlike Mickey Rourke, she didn't unmask herself. But she, well, let's go over the clues, okay? She was voted off in the normal fashion on The Masked Singer. She got the lowest number of votes, I guess, is how they do it. So, in the preview, a few weeks ago, well, now about a month and a half ago, we heard her say that her voice can go high, her dishes go deep. And at first, I thought that was a clue to cooking. I thought maybe this was a celebrity chef, but now that I know who it is, my dishes go deep. This is meaning, deep dish, gossip, that sort of thing. So the clue package tonight, there was a roller disco theme, and she said, people have strong opinions about me, but I always speak my truth. There was a gentleman in New Jersey, number 12, a Jersey, not a New Jersey, but she's from New Jersey, so that was the point of that clue. And there was the West Wing snack bar at the roller disco. She said, isn't this fire? She's been shocking the public for decades, and we saw a weird science or science lab kind of thing. And then there was an ice cream with a cherry on top. So those were all the clues. She sang horribly. Native New Yorker by Odyssey. I don't know the song, but the hint here was certainly that this woman is from New York. So some of the guesses, well, let's see. Robin was thinking maybe it was Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science, but then once he heard the singing, he thought maybe it's Sandra Bernhard, known for her lips, certainly, and as well from New York. Ken thought maybe it was Allison Janney because of the West Wing bit, and also, for some reason, he talked about roller skating having to do with I, Tonya. That's ice skating, Ken, not roller skating, but all right. Nobody really pointed that out to him. But and then Jenny McCarthy and Nicole were sure that this is going to be Wendy Williams. So at the end, we learned that the lips would be voted off. So we looked at the first impression guesses from everybody. Ken originally thought it was Mariah Carey because he's a moron. And then he said Alice and Janney. Robin stuck with his Sandra Bernhard guess, and then Jenny and Nicole sticking with Wendy Williams. Now, when this person started to sing, I knew right away, okay, I recognize that voice for sure. Couldn't place it. And then as soon as Jenny said Wendy Williams, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's 100% it. Because she was sort of talking at the beginning of the song, saying this is going out to my New Yorkers and all that. I mean, Wendy Williams, I don't really like her, style. I think she's annoying, but she's got a very distinct voice. I didn't think the Sandra Bernhard guess was bad, but, Sandra Bernhard, when she got big in the 80s and stuff, she would sing in a lot of, gay bathhouses and stuff, much like Bette Midler did in the 70s. And it just didn't sound like Sandra Bernhard to me. So Wendy Williams, it was clear. I don't know if I would have figured it out unless Nicole and Jenny said it, but I knew I recognized that voice, and sure enough, it was Wendy Williams. So I've done pretty well so far with these. The only one I missed was last week's, but I've gotten several of these so far. So my track record is good, and with your help, hopefully, we'll be even stronger at the next week. I guess we're going to see Series C again, Group C singing again, because we've already dwindled A and B down 2 times. So I think next week we're going to see Group C again. But with your help, maybe we can narrow some of these down that I am not sure about. So let's go in order of how they sang. So first up was the Squiggly Monster. This dude looks really wild. He's got a bunch of different arms. He's got a bunch of different eyes. In the preview, we saw a white puppy sitting with him in front of a birthday cake. He said he's known for having hands to latch onto things. So tonight in the clue package, it was a Mario sort of theme. He said, people always roll their eyes at me. We saw yarn, cookies, chocolate chip cookies. He said he's a father figure and a scoundrel, a hyperactive voice of the people, a worrywart and a maniac, but he's no Dumbo. He said he's easy on the eyes, and we saw him with a stethoscope there. And we saw also a breaking news sort of, like a news desk and breaking news in the back. So those were the clues, and the song he did was Have You Ever Seen the Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival. So here were some of the guesses from the panel. We had Ray Romano or maybe Brad Garrett. This is somebody who is clearly pretty tall. That much is obvious. So Al Franken was the guest from Jenny McCarthy. She was thinking, because at one point he did say something like My Fellow Americans. So she was thinking maybe it was somebody political. And then Ken, of course, with the stupid guess, thought it was Dr. Fauci. Obviously, look, I hope that's not a real guess, because that's such a silly guess. And Dr. Fauci is also not tall in the least. I mean, people can wear lifts, but, still, that's the short dude. So I caught something that I don't think anybody on the panel really took notice of. So at the beginning of the Mario theme package, there was, how video games have the lives up top, especially the old 8-bit video games. It said 1 out of 100 lives. So this is his first life out of 100. 1/100. So there's a dude who is definitely tall and an older comedian like a Brad Garrett or Ray Romano or even Al Franken before he was into politics. Of course, he was on SNL. And he hosted a game show called 1 versus 100 back about, 15, 18 years ago. And some of the other clues lead me to believe it could be this person as well. The father figure and scoundrel may have to do with his squeaky clean image as a television father and his scoundrelness being a very dirty stand-up comedian. I think Squiggly Monster is Bob Saget. And I thought maybe last year when we had, I forget who it was, I used the same notebook last year, so it ended up being, Tom Bergeron, but the taco, I thought maybe it was Bob Saget at first because of all the America's Funniest Home Videos clues. But I don't know. I just have a feeling this might be Bob Saget. I don't know what some of these clues have to do with. I don't know what the chocolate chip cookies are about, but you know, people always roll their eyes at me. That sort of reminds me of, you know, people thinking his jokes are corny on America's Funniest Home Videos, so they give him the old eye roll. I don't know. So I'm going to guess Bob Saget for the Squiggly Monster. Mushroom, this one is difficult because at first I thought this was a female, and then about halfway through the song I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a man with a very high register doing a falsetto thing. In the preview, we heard the Mushroom say that there was fertile ground to explore another side of themselves, and to figure out who I am, figure out who's under the hats. And right away I was thinking Pharrell Williams, which it still could be because Pharrell has a very high falsetto as well. But tonight on the clue package, he said that he spurted up underground. He was a healer and a scholar. He started out in the rat race in a very surprising job. And he got his shot to turn a hobby into a career. And then we saw an audition with like a big star behind him, like a reality show type of thing. We also saw a shovel, a pail, and a hoe, like you would hoe a garden. And then there was a shroom where it happens thing. He said he's going to rise up, and he took the broken road to get here. So, you know, look, there's been a lot of clues about Hamilton. So we had a lot of clues with Leslie Odom Jr. There were a lot of clues with the giraffe because of the dress. They thought it was somebody from Hamilton. Look, somebody from Hamilton, I get it. Everybody wants it to be from Hamilton because Hamilton is very hot right now. But that means it's also very easy to do clues for Hamilton. Especially, you know, shroom where it happens. And, I mean, that can really just sort of go with anything, you know. So, it could be somebody from Hamilton. I mean, we've seen so many people before. Some of the guesses included Anthony Ramos, or Ramos, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, or Lin-Manuel Miranda. Both of those have been bandied about for Hamilton by, I think it was Nicole. Donald Glover was mentioned, which was interesting. That's, of course, Ken's co-star from Community. And then also Usher. Interesting. You know, I don't know about the high voice really with that, but I mean, well, he does have a high voice, but I don't know, you know, was he a singing competition star? And then Frank Ocean was bandied about as well. Again, very, very good falsetto. That one totally makes sense. But I don't know. I'm not really seeing, honestly, like any of those. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about any of those. So I think it might be somebody from a reality competition. I think that is where they're leading us, whether that is American Idol, whether it's America's Got Talent, whether it's, you know, The Voice. I mean, we wouldn't really, I think, know anybody from The Voice is one of the problems. So I'm not sure necessarily about any of those. But there's somebody who has become a big YouTube star that does have a very high falsetto, and he has worn many hats, which would lead back to the preview, because he's done Broadway stuff. He's, you know, been on YouTube. He's done different things with RuPaul's Drag Race. I think this might be Todrick Hall from Season 9 of American Idol. He was eliminated way, way, way early, but you know, since then he's made a little bit of a name for himself in the gay community, and I don't know. I think I don't know enough about his singing to know for sure the voice, but he definitely does have a good falsetto. So my guess on this, I don't think it's anybody from Hamilton. I think that's too easy because I'm convinced Leslie Odom Jr. is in the show. So I actually think it's Todrick Hall for the Mushroom. Okay, up next we're going to talk about the Jellyfish. This one I'm really kind of lost on. Now, in the preview, we did learn that the Jellyfish does have 3-inch heels for her costume. So somebody that is pretty short and raised up a little bit from the heels. So there was an Instagram sort of theme called Instaclam. We had a book called The Littlest Ish Jellyfish, which Ken right away was like, oh, it might be Yara Shahidi from Blackish and Grownish. She said, once upon a time, she reigned supreme over an entire underwater kingdom, moved coast to coast for so long. We saw a tiara, and then she said she eventually had to journey into the real world. There was a sign that said, new rules, no rough guys, no just can't get enough guys, no chest always puffed guys. And then we saw her at Glowjella, which was a Coachella riff. And then we saw some Baby Powder and Angelfish, and the song she sang was Big Girls Don't Cry from Fergie. The people were all over the map with this. Ken thought maybe it was Chloe Grace Moretz, who is in an upcoming film with him. Aquafina was discussed, I think. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I think maybe that was Ken, too, because he was talking about, or that was his daughter in Crazy Rich Asians. Well, I forget who said it, but somebody said Aquafina. Sophia Richie was bandied about. But I think the most interesting guess, because this person is clearly not a trained singer. She did okay, but you could tell she was nervous. Robin was thinking maybe it was Gabby Douglas. And here's the deal. We've known from the start of this season that there is one Olympic gold medalist in the mix. For a split second, I thought maybe Crocodile was Greg Louganis, but then once I heard the singing, I was like, I don't think so. And now that we know all the Nick Carter clues, it's pretty obvious it's him. Jellyfish, I think might be our Olympian, because Robin thought Gabby Douglas, and that, to me, I have no idea who it is. I mean, I know who Gabby Douglas is, but I don't know who this is. By the voice, by the clues, it could be a lot of different people. And it's clearly not a professional singer. So I think this could be our gold medalist for the season. So I'm going to guess Gabby Douglas. That was a quick one. Broccoli is last. This one is interesting, but I think I've got a really good handle on this. So I'll need you to follow me on it. But in the preview, he said he's lean and mean. That's how he got his six-pack. And in tonight's clue package, we had a TikTok theme. He was talking about doing the lean back. He said, a contest greased the wheels for my career. And we saw, he was like on a patio chair, and we saw a soup can next to him on a table. And then it went to two dogs fighting, but they were dressed as yellow pepper and a red pepper. So that could be either ketchup and mustard maybe, or something like that. He said it's humble to work with some of the biggest artists, and he's just a kid rolling with the OGs. He's been on many stages. We saw 3 Mariachi Gentlemen, which will come back maybe in a clue. And then he eats broccoli all the time to be healthy, is what he told Nick after the song. And so from the clue package, everybody, including myself, was thinking this was a young dude. I'm rolling with the OGs, just a kid here. But then the voice told us a completely different tale, that, okay, no, this is a old dude, like 60 plus probably. He sang The House is Rockin'. Whole lot of shaking going on from Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jerry Lee Lewis. I don't know if this was his own medley that he invented, but I don't think I've ever heard those 2 songs together. But so the guesses included some very interesting ones. I forget even who said some of these, but Bill Murray was the first one mentioned. I think that might have been Nicole, because she was thinking Caddyshack, as there was sort of like swinging a golf club type reference. At some point, and I don't know. I didn't even write that down. It was so unimportant to me. But Jenny thought maybe it was Jerry Springer or Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Both good guesses there. Howie Mandel was mentioned by Ken. None of these actually are bad guesses, even Ken's. And then Steve Guttenberg is who Robin was thinking. There was sort of like the 3 men, the 3 mariachis being 3 men. And then, there was a baby, I guess, somewhere in the clue package. But so he was thinking it was Steve Guttenberg. That actually got me thinking maybe it's Ted Danson, which I think last season, or maybe it's earlier this season, I felt like somebody might be Ted Danson as well. I forget who that was, but Anyway, I could see Ted Danson doing this show. You know, he seems like a fun guy, and I think he can sing. I'm not sure, um, but I'm gonna go a different way with this because I recognized the voice, and to me, this was a professional singer. You know, this was not somebody like. I mean, the Fonz has done some singing in certain things. I'm sure he's done like, you know, a Branson, Missouri type of show in the '90s, maybe, and maybe some of these other guys as well. But this to me was a trained singer, somebody that has been, you know, a part of a lot of hit records. And when he said something like, you know, it's been humbling to work with some of the biggest artists. I'm just a kid rolling with the OGs. I think that dates back to decades and decades ago, working with some of the top names of the day, and the day being like the '70s mostly. I'm thinking. My guess for this, follow me on it, and if you don't know who this person is, check out some of his music elsewhere on YouTube because I think it's Paul Anka. And I sometimes I will, before I do these videos, I'll take just one or two things out of the clue package and just Google the person's name and the item and see if anything comes up that I can connect to it, or if there's nothing that comes up, I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'm totally barking up the wrong tree. So the one thing I did for Paul Anka is I did Paul Anka soup can. And he got his career started because he won a Campbell's soup contest that won him a trip to New York. And that is when he apparently realized that this is what he wants to do. He wants to be famous, and he wants to take on a career in entertainment. So there it is. I mean, to me, that's a slam dunk clue that nobody would really get without researching at least a little bit. You know, I don't think people know the history of Paul Anka, but I could tell from the voice this was a famous person, and just Paul Anka kind of stuck out to me. So my guess for the broccoli is Paul Anka. I don't know if the panel will guess him, except maybe Robin, because his dad, Alan Thicke, was into the music industry in the 70s and 80s, so his dad may have even worked with him. I doubt Jenny or Nicole would know who Paul Anka is, to be completely honest. So I don't know if they'll guess him, but I that is the one I'm like most sure of after I read the soup can thing. So that's it. Those are all my guesses. I want to know your guesses, though. What do you think about any of these? I'm definitely lost on several of them. I think my Bob Saget is okay. I think my Paul Anka is right on the money. Everybody else, I'm really not sure. I think Gabby Douglas is an interesting one, though, because I don't know anybody else that we've had so far that would be an Olympic gold medalist. Everybody else that I think it is, mostly singers or actors, and the one or maybe two athletes we've talked about are not Olympians. They're, like Lonzo Ball is not an Olympian, as far as I know. So who knows with the whatchamacallit. But I would love to hear your guesses. So please comment below with all of that. Check out my other Masked Singer videos if you haven't already. Group A is up. Group B is up. Two guest videos for each of those. And I guess we'll be back next week with another Group C week. So I look forward to that, and I look forward to bringing you my guesses if they've changed at all between now and then. So thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.